आपले दोन शब्द सगळ्या महापुरुषांना अभिवंदन करून सुरू करू इच्छितो. पण फक्त महापुरुषांना अभिनंदन नसून माझं अभिनंदन जे जर नंबर ऑफ फोटोग्राफ्समध्ये आपण कन्सिडर केलं तर मायनॉरिटीमध्ये असणाऱ्या महास्त्रियांना पण अभिवादन देऊन मी आपले हे दोन शब्द सुरू करतो. The topic of discussion is what should doctors do to further the Phule Ambedkarite movement. For that, we should first understand what is Phule Ambedkarite movement and who are Phule and Ambedkarites. We find the confusion which is there in the doctor's mind. Same confusion is there in minds of other people as well, from other professions or other stratas of the society. Ambedkarites or Phule, peoples of Phule, who are they? Politicians have defined it in several ways, like Ramdas Athwale, Prakash Ambedkar, Mayawati. Everyone has their own definition of Phules and Ambedkarites. Social organizations like BAMSEF prescribe some other definition. Employees organization which exist in central government as well as state government machineries have a different definition. Academicians view it as those who were excluded socially and marginalized, those belong to these communities. Literary and cultural organizations like Kapil Kala Manch prescribe some other thing. Professional organizations have their own definition. Dalit diaspora, one of its example is Ambedkar International Mission, have their own aims and objectives. There are virtual networks like Facebook, WhatsApp and other media which flaunt their own style of Ambedkarism and Phule. NGOs like Bharti have their own objectives and activities to carry out under this movement. Activists and intellectuals have their own action plan to mobilize the masses. Common men or women view it as a celebration of the important days like birth anniversaries of the influential people of the past. Because of these variety of definitions and understanding, we find that there is a crisis of identity. Some flaunt themselves, today we see that some flaunt themselves as an Ambedkarite and others continue to hide their identity and are merged into the process of Sanskritization, that is following them who are actually their enemies. Higher educated, those from among us who have gone to pursue higher education, keep themselves away from the movements and keep into their own comfort zone. All these conditions arise because of crisis of ideology. What does the Phule Ambedkarite movement actually stand for? Does it stand for annihilation of caste? Does it stand for inclination towards socialism? Or does it views as capitalism and Brahmanism as its enemy? What I understand as a Phule Ambedkarite movement is that the aim of this entire movement is to create a society which is based on liberty, equality, fraternity and the sense of social justice. Whenever we speak about our movement, we often find the speakers criticizing Brahmanism and Brahman caste. However, these are various different identities. We often feel ourselves comfortable in criticizing what wrong others have done to us. However, we often fail to acknowledge what lacks within ourselves. We rarely reflect the concern for the social morality, which is also an important aspect. We do not agitate against corruption, the patriarchy which exists in the society as well as in our own home. These all things have led to the crisis of leadership. And we have seen various samikaran jala आपण म्हणतो, like Shiv Shakti, Bhim Shakti is equal to Desh Bhakti. Also we have seen a novel experiment of social engineering ultimately not led the movement further, but have given us an opportunity to rethink on what lines do we think. In this current situation, which is classified as neoliberal society, our people face contemporary problems like shortage of food and its distribution. We are affected by poor health and healthcare system. Those of us who are entering into the higher education system, we face conflicts in the educational institutes, which was very highly rightly highlighted by the case of Rohit Vemula. So these are newer problems which are arising. The caste and casteism which was existing in past does not reflect in today's situation similar in the same way as it was in past. But in contemporary world, there are new problems arising with this new liberal economy. Reservation, which was thought as a ray of hope, is now gradually diminishing, and we need to search for new solutions because today we face a multifaceted crisis. Causes of this crisis may be clubbed as division of Ambedkarites, and we need to acknowledge that the division exists. We rarely like the constitution, the composition of the society rarely reflects itself in the arena of the policy making, in the positions of execution, and in the positions of judiciary. Majority of our masses are only available for crowding and processions. Whenever something wrong goes on in the society, we ignite, come together, and then after a few days or few months, we forget the issue. Most of the movements or most of the agitation, or even in our local surrounding, what we come together is only on the discussion of reservation, we versus them. This is often a situation which is created in each and every institute and each and every friend circle. No doubt that Brahmanism has cheated us, destroyed our past culture, and created a hegemonic society, which ultimately led for enslavement of ours. But how long are we going to blame this on others in order to just gain the psychological comfort? When are we going to look into our own weaknesses? It is a fact that when we are weak internally, we are about to get exploited by the external forces. Unless and until we try to examine ourselves, the samta will always be overshadowed by samrasta, and the fragmentation of the society will exist. Each and every movement or each and every action what we carry out should be based on the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity, and not merely the ideas of every conference or people's movement should be based on historical legacy of Ambedkar and other great leaders. Like in particularly for doctors or professionals working in various sectors, we often focus on our life and our upliftment. But how often do we focus on issues of them who we call as non-beneficiary of the social movements? Like we all got an education because of some sort of social arrangement, and we have become the beneficiary class. But often we forget that there is a huge chunk of people who have been left behind, and those are called as non-beneficiary of the social movement. Their contemporary issues are security of living, access to education, healthcare facilities, sanitation. We still find that after 70 years of independence, manual scavenging still exists. And how often have we organized a procession, or how often have we spoken on the issue of manual scavenging and protested against it? As a doctor, have we been concerned about high incidence of anemia, malnutrition, stuntedness, and poor oral health of the Dalits and tribals. Do in our like for MBBS there is a subject called as preventive and social medicine, and for dentists there is a subject called as community dentistry. Do we find any of the literature reflecting the Indian reality in that? Do we have statistics showing what is the status of the health status of SCs, STs, OBCs? So, if we focus on these issues, our movement will not be restricted as it is today, I find, to particular caste or to particular group. It will be a pan-India movement and it will be pan-people. All of us and all the others who are within the this system will be with us, and this will ultimately lead to the society with liberty, equality and fraternity. Ultimately, I would end my views with a small piece of reading which was spoken by Ambedkar. For R is a battle, not battle for wealth or for power. It is a battle for freedom. It is a battle for reclamation of human personality, which has been suppressed and mutilated by the Hindu social system and will continue to be suppressed and mutilated if in the political struggle the Hindus win and we lose. My final words of advice to you is educate, agitate and organize. And the most important thing which he emphasized was to have faith in yourself and never lose hope. By expressing his view for education, he meant to say to know of your slavery, to educate yourself what has been your past, so that you can liberate yourself to agitate at present. And it is important to organize yourself because it is necessary to be strong enough to be vocal into the fight for establishment of the just society. For future, what doctors or what we as an organization can do, I would emphasize on few points, like those who are or are not within our reach at present, we should have strategies and programs to educate them and train them, not in academics but in social education. It is important to make them aware of the current situation, to make them aware of the past. It is necessary for continuous sensitization for our own people as well as others, because equality or fraternity cannot be achieved only by group of few. It needs an involvement of everyone. The education is important to bridge the social distance, because we in ourselves are divided. So it is important to get everyone on a common platform. This education should be based on continuous emphasis on rationality, developing scientific temper, and the most important thing is morality. How you conduct yourself. Calling yourself Ambedkarite and being corrupt is not good. Okay, yeah, I would like to end my talk over here. Okay, thank you.